I haven't changed a thing other than the painting on the back. I'm determined to keep it exactly the way that he wanted it. And it's my memorial to him. My name is Cynthia Saunders. I am in Freaks of Nature, and I live in Fort Worth, Texas. I got into the car show scene around 2008. My late husband actually took me to my first car show, and it was a Hooters car show, parking lot car show. From that point on, he took me to Turkey Drag, and I was hooked. I came into this, like I said, in 2008. I was in my 30s. I'd seen bag trucks before and thought they were silly. Why would you do this? And then we started building this car, and I fell in love. I understand why. This is my first custom vehicle. It's a 09 HHR panel, fully custom. We built this with love together. I think he originally wanted to build something that he could put a wall of speakers in. And I teased him one day and I said, it looks like a miniature hearse. And he turned it into one. Shey and I met through mutual friends. I went over to a friend's house, and at the time I was still married and I was going through some issues with my now ex-husband, and I just really was very attracted to him. He was fun, he was funny, he was different. We struck up a conversation and became really good friends, and over the next year I was going through a pretty nasty divorce, and Shey was really there for me. He was my rock. He was my best friend. You know, he tried to actually encourage me, go work things out with him, and things just didn't work out. And next thing I know, you know, we just kind of turned that corner, going from friendship to best friends and lovers. We got married in 2010. We went to Vegas and got married. So a friend of mine that I grew up with had a traumatic brain injury and moved to Vegas and had his own show at the MGM Grand as an Elvis impersonator. And when they found out that we were going to Vegas to go get married, he wanted to be there for our wedding and sing at our wedding. So he didn't dress up like Elvis, but we had kind of an Elvis impersonator at our wedding singing like Elvis. We started building this. This is a 2009 HHR. And we started building it in 2008. We had the air ride done on it and the first graphics up to the front doors done on it by Scraping the Coast. Went to Scraping the Coast, and some teenagers doored the car. We took it back into paint, and it went all the way to the back doors, and then we had a third phase of paint that went all the way back to the very back. But Sean Thurman is actually the one that did the air ride on this. Our friend Billy out of Green Bay, Alabama, did the paint on it. Shey and I did the interior on it. Shey did all the sound on it. I actually helped him do the casket, which weighs a ton. 2010 was the last bit of paint that was on it. And then after Shey passed in 2011, I had a memorial done to him on the back. He had a pulmonary embolism. He had 2 blood clots in both legs that traveled up. Very sudden, very unexpected. He was in Explicit Concepts. He was kind of a pillar in the community. A lot of people in the mini trucking scene knew him. He was a big influence on a lot of people, and I still to this day have people come up to me at car shows and talk to me about him, tell me funny stories about him, which I absolutely love. People come out of the woodwork when you're at your absolute lowest. They're there for you in a heartbeat. You don't even have to ask. When Shey passed away, everybody that was in Explicit Concepts came running to Texas, whether they lived in Florida, whether they lived in Missouri, you know, they came from all over. They came running, and they were there for me every step of the way. They were there for me leading up to the funeral, after the funeral, during the funeral. It's family. It's everything. And I can't imagine my life without it. It's a great big family, you know. Like I said, they're there for you in the best of times. They're there for you in the worst of times. When you get an award, they're, yeah, clapping for you, all happy for you. But, you know, when you're down and out, they're not there to kick you. They're there to pick you back up. I had joined Explicit Concepts, and the founder and I kind of butted heads, and it was time for me to move on. And I had contacted Care Bear, who is no longer with us, and he was in Freaks at the time. And he got in touch with Rick from Texas, from the Dallas-Fort Worth chapter, and said, hey, man, I've got somebody that needs a home, needs a club. And I called up Rick and bawled my eyes out. It was shortly after Shey had passed away. Shey passed in October of 2010. And it was Turkey Drag of 2010. So just a couple months after. And I, 2 weeks later, went to a Toys for Tots charity show and met the freaks out there and joined up with them. And since then, I'm now actually the president of the DFW chapter. Every year at one show a year, it doesn't matter which one, Freaks of Nature decides to do a takeover, and we do Petitioning Olympics. And that is the greatest humorous thing to ever sit down and watch. People chugging beer, eating the weirdest stuff contest, human hungry hippo, just the drunken shenanigans. But I know the chugging contest, going back to Shey, every car show that he ever went to that they did a chugging contest, Shey won. He could chug a great big giant beer, an entire pitcher of beer in 2 gulps. He could put back an entire pitcher of beer, 2 to 3 chugs, done, game over. And everybody's sitting there going, what the hell? Nobody ever stood a chance against him. Shey has another generation, his daughter. His daughter's actually wanting to go to car shows more often with me. She's been to LST with me and to Turkey Drag, and she loves it. She's following right in her dad's footsteps, but she was also born at a car show, so I'd like to have my own build. I think the dream is a 49 Mercury. Top the top on it, slam it to the ground, get just that real nice lead sled look. That's what I love. I love the curves. I love something that has a lot of good curves to it, and I think this was kind of part of that inspiration. Thanks to everybody that's been there for me, that's lent a hand, that's taken me under their wing and said, come on, I got you. Thanks for everything. Be sure to like and subscribe to Built to Cruise.